This is a podcast about both having autism and living with someone who has autism. My mom is Sonya, and I'm Josh, and this is Josh Has Autism.
Hey everybody, welcome to Josh Has Autism.
Hello.
So we are a day late
Yeah.
coming to you this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it actually, today's Friday, so it's going to go out as soon as we're done.
Yeah.
But it's late in the day because we've had an eventful day already.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, sorry that it's coming out a day late, everybody. It's been a crazy time, and we just couldn't get it together. You've been having some difficulties because you had some medication change.
Yes.
And
Yeah, and it was making it very hard for me to be able to do anything, really, because it was just such a big change in the medicine that it really affected me poorly.
there were 2 medication changes. And on top of that, and your doctor feels like even more than a medication, it was all the life changes that you've been dealing with.
Yeah.
And the last podcast that we did, I was pretty upset with you. And things have gotten a lot better since then as far as your communication with me.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
What I mean is that before I yelled at you, you wouldn't necessarily let me know what was going on with you, and you wouldn't let me know if you needed help. I would always be the one going to you, trying to help you to be okay, finding out if you needed anything, and then it's really kind of orchestrating a system around you to hopefully help you to be okay.
Right.
So, what happened after that, when I just kind of, I think, was pushed to my limit, it felt like anyway, what I did was just kind of back off a bit. And what I said to you is that from that point moving forward, and from now on, I can't do things for you, but I will always be there to help you with things if you need help, but you have to let me know.
Right.
You have to do things first.
Right.
If a phone call needs to be made, you have to try it first.
Right.
And if you need help with it, then I'll help you with it. There are some exceptions. Like today, I had to talk to an insurance company, and I had a specific question about what they cover, because one of the things that's happened is you started going to therapy.
Yeah.
Well, I needed to find out about, because insurance stuff is crazy. Did you need a referral to go there?
Right.
Or is that since you're already seeing a psychiatrist, she's not in the military, so it's outside what's called in the network. Since she is, and she referred you to a particular therapist office, did we need to do anything else?
Okay.
So, just explaining that, I just made that phone call. I didn't ask you to make that phone call because I knew that there's probably going to be... If I don't know exactly what I'm asking...
yeah, then there's no hope for me.
there's no hope for you. I had to be pretty clear about it. So anyway, I just did that one.
Okay.
But what I realized is, getting so upset with you last week, is that what I realized is after I had time to cool down and everything, is that I was mad at myself equally. Because what I feel like is that I inadvertently did things that didn't help you, it feels like. So never always being there like I was, I feel like probably was a disservice because you weren't really taught to do things on your own. And it wasn't deliberate, but I think that was the outcome. Because in my mind, I didn't know what you really needed, what you were really capable of, and when I would step back and things wouldn't work, it would make me think, oh my gosh, you really can't do that. So then I come back in the picture and but I just got to a point where I couldn't ask you to do things anymore. It's just time for you to do them. So what's happened is, since that, you've gotten very good at letting me know what it is that you need.
Yeah.
And when you need it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I can't give you an example, but...
So you've known me your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
You know me. When I get mad...
Stay away.
Well, I wasn't going to say that. When I get mad, change has to happen.
Yeah.
Because by the time I lose my temper,
mm-hmm.
it's really at a point where, okay, this is not working. And it's not going to work this way, so there has to be some change.
Yeah.
And what I feel like for my own well-being is that I had to back off. And what happened is that I know that it's only been a week.
Mm-hmm.
But...
And what a week it's been.
Been actually now almost 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But what's happened is that I feel like you and I, our communication is better than it used to be.
Yeah.
And I think what's happened is me backing off like that and expecting you to do the things for yourself. You're willing now. And I guess that's the huge difference, is it seemed before you weren't even willing to do things.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's true. Do you think it is, or you haven't thought about it?
I don't think it's ever been that I have not been willing to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just been that I have not thought of doing something.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's not necessarily that I've been putting it off or that I've been avoiding it or anything like that. More so than it just doesn't occur to me to do something.
Mm-hmm. And that's part of the responsibility that not everybody can get to that point. And I did not know if you were a person that could get to that point. Because what you're saying is certain things in your life you're just not aware of.
Right.
You don't think about.
Right.
And unless somebody brings it to your attention, you're probably not ever going to be aware of it.
Right.
Like, for example, the other day, you called me and you were having a very hard time. And I went over to where you were and just hanging out.
Yeah.
And you had let me know that RJ, you feel like, is getting frustrated with you.
Yeah.
And do you remember what we talked about?
A little, but you could explain it better than I could because you remember more of it than I do.
Do you remember about the dishwasher?
Doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you said?
No.
Okay. What you had said is that you feel like he's getting frustrated with you because you're not getting things done.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about this outside motivation, which I get confused by that.
Right.
Because motivation is something that you either have or you don't have.
Right.
You can have goals that you're trying to reach.
Right. The way that I tried to explain it
Mm-hmm.
was that there's an internal motivation or will to do something, and then there's outside motivation.
Which is what?
Like being told, hey, you have to do this.
Oh, got it. Okay. Right. Is that called outside motivation?
I don't know. I don't know.
You just made it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So you knew that you felt that RJ was not real thrilled with you not doing stuff.
Right.
And you told me that day, well, the dishwasher has been clean for 3 days.
Yeah.
And you're aware of it. And I said, well, why aren't you doing it? And you said, I don't know. And I said, go do it.
Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah.
And then there was trash there. And I said,
Take the trash out.
Take the trash out.
Yeah.
And I looked around and things were a mess. And I said, so
Clean it up.
put those, helped you with certain things as they were,
Well, yeah, you didn't say just clean it up. You pointed out different things, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But to the effect of clean it up.
Yes. Yes, pretty much. But what I'm saying is that there's this responsibility shift that I need to happen, and you need to happen. Because nobody likes to talk about it, but the fact is there's going to be a day that we're not here.
Right.
I'm not here, and you're going to need to do these things.
Right.
But I have noticed a change in you already. Because, like I said, I said to you, I'm done. I'm done trying to get you to do things. Either you do them or you don't.
Right.
If you start to do them and you have trouble, I'm here for you. If you don't go to do them, you're out of luck.
Right.
That took me apparently 32 years to get there. Because always feeling like I don't know what exactly you need has kept me in that mode.
Yeah.
But I think that it was a disservice, and it's time for you to step up and do these things on your own. And we'll know. If you can't, then you can't. But if you can...
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's time to figure that out. A couple of things have happened. We did a podcast last week. After that, you had an appointment with a psychiatrist, and where we talked about all of this stuff. And do you want to tell everybody?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I was just going to ask you. Can you say what appointments came from that? What got put in place?
So, from that appointment, we were told to go check out this mental health place.
So,
and for not only for what are they called again?
Therapist?
No. They come to your house and stuff.
Oh, life skills?
Life skills, that's it.
Yeah.
Life skills coach, but also for a therapist, yeah. And so I saw the therapist earlier today.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're going there already?
Already.
Okay, so let me just say first, what happened was through this psychiatrist appointment, we were sent down a direction, and that's where I really stepped back and said, if you want this service, call them. Make the appointment.
And I did.
Yes, and some of it you did on your own, and some of it you needed my help to finish the conversations.
Yes.
Which was fine with me.
Yeah.
But from that came you were sent to therapy. You were sent to have a psychological evaluation to help with your treatment options. You were sent to it's funny because the name is CARD, like it was down in Florida, but it's here in Newport News in Virginia. It is a Center for Autism and Related Disorders.
Yes.
And you called them, or you did that online. I think we talked about that last time, though, didn't we?
I don't think so. I think we were planning on it, but we hadn't done it yet.
I don't remember, but you made an appointment with them, and also they're going to do life skills and ABA.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to happen.
Could you explain what ABA is?
Applied behavioral analysis.
Okay.
And I thought that was only for kids, but they have it for adults. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
At any rate, we went to so everybody, this is what Josh is talking about, the therapy appointment today. Anybody that knows me knows that I am opinionated, but I value others. I value their opinions. But I felt like punching a therapist in the face today. It was that intense. So here's what happened. We went to the therapist office. Josh went and had the therapy by himself, and I was just waiting. And she wanted to talk to us afterwards. And just by myself. So she took me back. And so anybody that's been listening to this podcast understand that you know who Josh is. Josh, was diagnosed with autism when he was 7. He continues to be diagnosed, to be given that diagnosis, and it fits. And and it makes sense. And he's worked very hard to get to where he is, and as a family, we've worked very hard. But yes, he can fall in that category sometimes where you would maybe meet him, and you might not know that he has autism.
More than likely, you wouldn't know.
And if you had a conversation for 5 minutes or something, you probably would, but not necessarily.
Right.
So this therapist, we went back in an office, and she said to me that that I was saying that basically the goals are to get Josh to be proactive in his own life, to get things done, to understand how to do that, and so that and she said to me, do you see the steam coming out of my ears, Josh? She said to me, this therapist, mind you, she said, well, Josh, I have this written down. Let me go back over here. I have this written down. I was so mad. I came and wrote it down because I knew that I'd be so mad. Okay, so listen to what she said. The therapist said to me, looking at me in my eyes, she said that Josh doesn't have autism because he wouldn't be able to complete sentences and he'd be running around in circles. And
that sounds like a dog.
No.
In my head that reminds me of what dogs do.
Running around circles?
And not say anything.
I know. Yes, I see what you're saying there. It made me so mad.
Yeah.
So madder than I was at you the other day. Because I said to her, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, and I left the room and I went up to the front desk and I put it in a complaint about her.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing that makes me so mad about that statement. Is that people are individuals. And yes, there's different levels of autism. And it's known that there are different levels of autism. And you fall in the category of autism where you have the ability to do things, to form sentences, to have conversations, and you also, behind the scenes, is where things tend to fall apart.
Yeah.
You present yourself in a certain way, but it's once you leave that conversation, implementing what you just heard, remembering what you just heard.
Yeah.
It's taking action on what you need to in your own life. It's the sensory overload.
Yeah.
On one given day to the next, you can function one day and not the next because things don't feel right.
Right.
It's too intense. You feel too much.
Just feel too much.
You just feel too much. But there's times where sounds are too loud.
Yeah.
Where things are too bright. Where things that smell a certain way can affect you. And you have to immediately leave.
Yeah.
Those are things that you deal with every day. And I feel like swearing right now, but I won't. It just ticked me off so bad that this person that is a therapist that just saw you, a person with autism, and does not even understand that it looks different. For every person that has autism that walks into her office, she might see that many different behaviors, that many different triggers, that many. We talk about, look, because we need to communicate as a society, we try to frame things in a way that we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, but a therapist, I'm not saying that they should know. If a therapist is going to see somebody with autism, they dang well better know that there's a difference from one person to the next walking through their door with autism, and it's not going to look the same. And even the focus is not going to be the same from one person to the next.
Right.
But for her to tell me that you don't have autism because you can talk and because you do something other than running around in circles, that you don't have autism, it makes me so mad, because also you and everybody else on the spectrum, she's doing a disservice to everybody.
I remember whenever I was in there with her,
Mm-hmm.
she also said something along the lines of, you have ADHD? You don't seem very hyperactive.
Oh. So what I did is I went straight back up to the front desk and I said, I want to put in a complaint.
Mm-hmm.
I told them what she said.
Mm-hmm.
That the person at the front desk was appalled by that. She went and took it to her superior.
Yeah.
Her superior was appalled by that, and they're taking it to that person's taking it to their superior. I got a call already since we've been home, and she said that that they apologize, that she's not going to call today, but she'll call on Monday.
Mm.
And so she was appalled by it.
Yeah.
They said that it's totally unacceptable. And I said, I agree. This is a formal complaint that I'm putting in. This is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and, you might cancel that next appointment that was just made for her, because that's not going to happen.
Right.
And they said, okay. And I said, I'm not paying for the appointment that we just had with somebody that doesn't even recognize what autism is.
Right.
I said, I'm not paying for this.
Right.
And so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But they understood as soon as what I just said. Let me just tell you again, because I'm so mad. Maybe if I get it out one more time, I'll have a better time with it. But she said that Josh doesn't have autism because he wouldn't be able to complete sentences and he'd be running around in circles. I don't care what level of autism somebody has. You can't assume that because you don't see a particular behavior at a particular time, that somebody doesn't have the diagnosis that they've had practically their whole life. There are kiddos and adults out there on the spectrum that are not verbal. And they need to be met where they are.
Yeah.
And you need to be met where you are.
Yeah.
And this makes me mad. Not just, I'm so furious, Josh. Not just, you're mine, right? I will punch somebody in the face over you. Mm-hmm. But for everyone on the spectrum, this makes me so mad. Because this is a person that's not seeing people on the spectrum as individuals.
Right. Right.
We know
that even that generality is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's so wrong.
Yeah, now you're getting it right. Yes, Josh. This is not this is not just about you. It infuriates me that there's a therapist out there that this is how she approaches people on the spectrum.
Yeah. Because
for everybody on the spectrum, you have that many different personalities.
Yeah.
Everybody is an individual. Everybody has their own likes and dislikes, things that they can do, things that they struggle with.
Right.
You happen to be able to have a conversation with me. But if I was to raise my voice at you right now, the conversation wouldn't happen. I know that about you. You would shut down. You wouldn't know what to do.
Right, right.
There's times when if there's too many things, too many steps that you have to take, you don't know what to do. We'll go away from this conversation. It's very, very difficult for you to take information from a conversation and you to apply it in real time. I'm grateful that I get to hear your sentences. I'm grateful for that. I understand what that means, and I'm just so grateful. There should not be a person in the field of mental health that approaches other human beings the way that she did.
Right.
And I'm not violent.
Right.
I'm not a violent person. I don't get in altercations. Typically, I stand up for myself. I stand up for myself, but I do it in a respectful way.
Yeah.
This made me so mad. Like, we're sitting here now doing a podcast. I could have easily been in the back of a cop car.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that, we talked to our friend Karen, one of my best friends, Karen, afterwards, and she said that what happened was I was triggered. That was my trigger.
Yeah.
And I think that she's right. I know that she's right. Let me rephrase that. I know that she's right, and here's why. Because I have had to stand up for you on your behalf, and sometimes for myself, because just by the connection, people are just out of line all the time.
Yeah.
But all the way through school, I had to really just be so invested in you getting what you needed. Because other people sometimes wouldn't see it until it was too late.
Right.
That goes back to this whole arrangement that's been put in place about you being responsible for yourself. I've put an awful lot of thought into it, and I see that that's why I just stuck with that, because for so long, when you couldn't advocate for yourself, I did it.
Right.
And people hear you talking, and you're brilliant, and you're funny, and it just, I think that we all are grateful that you're able to talk to us.
Yeah.
There were so many times that I had to advocate for you when other people were belittling or dismissing what you needed.
Right. I would like to point out something to you.
Okay.
While I was in there with her, she had said the same thing to me.
What?
What you heard from her directly.
She said that sentence to you, that you don't have autism?
She didn't say you don't have autism. She said the rest of it. But I took it in a completely different way. Originally. In that, thinking that, I thought that she was saying that I don't have autism, that I have Asperger's syndrome. So I just explained to her, Asperger's syndrome was
it used to be
deleted from the books.
Correct.
And has been brought back into the autism spectrum. And I just left it at that.
Right. She said this. Yes, she said about Asperger's to me as well. But it was brought back. It is autism.
Yeah.
You're autistic. I didn't make this up.
Right, and it's been this way for years.
And yes, and I think that our friend is correct in this. That's a trigger for me, because having to stand up for you over and over and over in so many different situations.
Yeah.
And the thought of having to do that with a therapist is just ridiculous.
Yes.
And it made me angry today.
Yes.
And I don't know what's happening, but I've been angry a few times in the past few weeks in ways that are not characteristic for me.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe, stuff is coming out that, that just I need to get rid of.
Yeah. Hopefully not me. No.
No. You make me crazy, but I love you too much.
I love you too.
So, going back a couple steps, what came from being a situation that made me see clearly that it's not working, or arrangement wasn't working, and I stepped back.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that you've been successful most of the time, or not so much? Or how do you feel about it? Are you even aware that I've stepped back some?
I am. And at the same time, it's different than it was.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's a little bit the same. Because it's not... Oh, how can I explain this? It is not that things have not changed. Because things have changed. I think that a little bit it's too soon to tell.
Right.
Because of all the issues I'm having right now.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to the medicine and all the changes that have been taking place.
Right.
I think it's too soon to say.
Mm-hmm. I think that you're probably, I think that's a pretty good observation. It feels different for me in that I'm not constantly saying to you, this is what you need to get done, and this is what you need to get done,
mm-hmm.
and then you don't do it, and I get frustrated.
Right.
It's that I let you know very clearly, I'm here if you need me.
Right.
You have to be the one that we need to know what you're capable of doing.
Right.
That's where we are at in life. It's not about me dumping you.
Right,
you know,
right.
it's just it's time. We have to know what you're capable of doing.
Right.
And me being so involved and kind of orchestrating things for you all the time, you didn't have a need to grow further, I think, than you were. And I just didn't see it. I didn't realize that was the case.
Mm.
But I think that, yes, there was a whole bunch of changes all at once. And it's hard to put words to, but I feel closer to you. I do. I feel closer to you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
I do, because I'm not spinning my wheels all the time.
Mm.
I think what's different is I'm not frustrated with you.
Okay.
And I can't put that on you, because it was me thinking things through. He needs to do this, he needs to do this, he needs to do this. Okay, let me put something in together that will help him to get there.
Right.
Well, it doesn't help you.
Right.
But I kept doing it.
Right.
So, it was just overwhelming. It just got to a point where I can't do this anymore.
Right.
Once I stopped doing that, again, I'm going to be very, very clear. You are not the one that had to make this huge change. I'm the one that had to make the huge change. And I think in doing that, in changing the way that I do things with you, and holding you, allowing you to be accountable for your success and failures,
mm-hmm.
Feels different to me.
Right. Right.
I don't know. I can't explain it, but having you make your own phone calls and having you basically, and I'm not even saying that all of a sudden we're gonna snap our fingers, and because our relationship, I think our relationship is improved. Maybe you're feeling just the same. I can tell you that I'm not.
You feel better.
I feel better. I'm not as frustrated. I'm not.
Right.
Not everything doesn't hinge on
me.
Yeah. Yeah. For the first time in 32 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It feels better, and think that I see you clearer and what you need, but I still don't know what you're capable of. But we're still
we're working it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to have gone through all of the things that we've gone through in your life to get you to where you are, to get you to, striving for success.
Yeah.
And sometimes that looks like brushing your teeth without being prompted.
Right.
Sometimes when we're in school looks like you getting a project done on time.
Mm.
Maybe now it's clearing the dishwasher.
Right.
There feels like life doesn't have to be these huge accomplishments, because it's the everyday accomplishments that make such a difference. I know that I can tell when you do something, you feel better about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
So the place that is connecting you with a life skills person and ABA hasn't gotten back to you. So I think that probably Monday, I'm doing that thing that I said I wasn't going to do. But let me just put it out there like that. When you don't hear back from people like that, like organizations, it's a good thing to follow up.
Okay.
Just to get an idea of how long.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that it's very fitting that I had this conversation with this so-called therapist today, because it really is about the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about
responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just kind of being dismissed. Yeah. Your diagnosis being dismissed as if
all the work I've put into it didn't matter.
Yeah.
All the work you've put into it too.
But really, kind of just like diminished or dismissed the struggles and the issues that you deal with every day.
Yeah.
And you've had a lifetime of that, a lifetime of people dismissing you.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
Right.
You look. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody, Josh has this look. Josh has this look that happens when he is done. No more gonna happen. Yeah. So, all right. So we'll just wrap it up.
Okay.
All right. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's Friday instead of Thursday, and the podcast is coming out today. So we're again sorry it's a day late. Thankfully, I'm not in the back of a cop car. I'm here doing a podcast, so I'll take that success too. Give us a 5 stars if you would, and it helps people to find us. So that's a real good thing. It helps us out a lot. So thank you for doing that if you are so inclined. Yeah. And check us out, SonyaKing.com, SONYA
KING.
Did I even spell that right?
You did.
It sounded right. Do you ever look at a word that you know how to spell and you're like, is that right? And I just said my name and I'm like, I spelled my name and it didn't sound right. Oh, it's one of those days. But anyway, check us out because there's a blog, there's illustrations on there. So, but we'd love to hear from you too. That's the way you go to this website. You can, send us messages if you'd like. Yeah. But anyway, we hope that you are happy and healthy out there, and have a great weekend. Love you.
Bye.